Girls, we have already started with the topic structure of the ocean floor, in which in the last video lesson we learnt about the continental shelf, continental slope and abyssal plains. Today we are going to study about two more ocean relief, that is mountain ranges and plateaus, marine deeps and marine trenches. So let us begin. Mountain ranges and plateaus. The hills and mountains found on the ocean bed are called submerged hills and mountains. Submerged means underwater. So these hills and mountains, like we have on the land, in the same way they are there very much existing on the ocean bed as well. These hills are hundreds of kilometers wide and thousands of kilometers long. Peaks of some of the submerged hills come above the sea level. They are visible to us as marine islands. So those peaks of submerged hill which could be seen on the surface of the water, they are actually the islands for us. So they are visible. Example, Iceland in the Atlantic Ocean and very much of our Andaman and Nicobar Island in the Bay of Bengal in India. These are the examples of submerged hills and mountains. The summits, that means the top portion of some of marine islands, are flat and extensive. They are called as oceanic or submarine plateaus. That means the appearance is just like a plateau, long and never ending. For instance, that means, for example, Chagos Plateau in the Indian Ocean, which is just close to Maldives. You can see it in the picture along with the slide. Next, marine deeps and marine trenches. On the ocean bed, there are some landforms which are deep, narrow and steep. They are called as marine deeps or trenches. Generally, the shallower ones are called as marine deeps, the ones that are not too wide and not too deep. So they are called as marine deeps, while deeper ones and extending for longer distance are called as trenches. These trenches are thousands of meters deep from the sea level. Now, what is the sea level? We will be seeing in the next slide. But the Mariana Trench, which is in the Pacific Ocean, is the deepest trench in the world and its depth is around 11,034 meters. This Mariana Trench is very much close to the Philippines and Indonesian island. The mid-oceanic submerged hills and marine trenches are geologically the most active areas of the ocean bed in the world. There are many active volcanoes here. These areas are also earthquake-prone areas. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occurring in the ocean bed give rise to tsunamis in the nearby coastal areas. So what you could see in the first picture is actually a volcanic mountain or a hill which is present very much in the trench as well. Now, just a reminder and advice, many of the times there are mistakes or there is a confusion between marine trench and Mariana Trench. Mariana Trench is an example of marine trench. So most of the times when it is asked and you are supposed to answer as Mariana Trench, you tend to answer as marine trench. It's just a reminder for you to keep in mind that Mariana Trench is an example of marine trench. Moving further about marine deposits. Now there are three types of marine deposits, that is pebble or clay. Then there is a marine deposit which are like sedimentary type of deposits, and the third one is a human deposit. Now what it is that we are going to see this. The marine beds are the deep part of the world in respective regions. Hence, various deposits are found in these parts. The deposits are as follows: pebbles, clay, soil, etc., brought by rivers, glaciers from the continent. The deposition occurs mainly on the continental shelf. These are called as marine deposits. This is the first type of marine deposition. The second, lava and ash erupting out of volcanic eruption is also found here. Fine soil particles are deposited on a large scale. Remains of marine plants and animals are mixed in these deposits. This mixture is made up of fine particles and lies in the form of fine clay. This is around 30% of the deposits. These are called as marine ooze. To understand the form of marine life in the ocean and the availability of minerals on the ocean bed, these deposits are very important. They tell us the composition or the content or the minerals that are present in the ocean. Sedimentary rocks are formed due to the deposition of layers over layers of the sediments and the pressure of sea water. This is the second type of marine deposition. The third one, besides some human-induced materials, is also found in the ocean bed. These include sewage, solid waste, radioactive materials, waste chemical, plastics, etc. These wastes prove hazardous to the hydrosphere. These materials are extremely harmful to the marine life and its environmental. Though the polluting components are less, their nuisance value is more. See, even though the quantity of the component polluting the marine marine water or ocean water is less, but its hazardous or its effects or its harmfulness is more as compared to it. Now let us know what is a sea level. Elevation or the height or depth of any place is measured from the sea level. The average of the highest high tide and the lowest low tide is considered as sea level. This average is taken to be the 0 point, and the altitude and depths are measured and shown in positive or negative value. The value, or you can say the landforms which are above or which are on the land, okay, they are measured in positive numbers, and the one which are under the water are measured with negative numbers. For example, Mount Everest is a mountain on the land, is 8,848 meters high, whereas Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean is in the water, so is measured as minus 11,034 meters. For survey purpose in India, the height of sea level at Chennai is considered to be 0, and according to that, the height or altitude of any place in India is measured with this reference. Thank you.
Hey, have you ever wanted to take a dive into the deepest parts of the ocean? Well, today, you're going to have this opportunity. Now, how good are you at holding your breath? Not that good? Well, not to worry. Hop aboard my submersible craft and join me in the voyage to the depths. Ready? Ooh, let's dive. Right now, just below the surface, you see that life is thriving here. Fish and marine animals abound, and hey there, swimmers are waving at us. But we won't be staying here for long. Bye-bye. At 65 feet, there's a whole new world opening before your eyes. Shallow coral reefs are standing beautifully not far from the shore. And hey, there are people here again. It's scuba divers this time, though. Water pressure isn't kind to divers without special equipment. 130 feet is the depths where we say goodbye even to recreational scuba divers. It's the maximum allowed for them. Take care, guys. 200 feet And here's the first orca. These whales inhabit the relatively shallow waters of almost every sea and ocean in the world. Did you know that they're the apex predators, by the way? It means they have no natural enemies, and no one can take them down. At 230 feet, we meet whale sharks, the largest known fish species, weighing up to 60 tons. And they're also quite long livers. Well, yeah, I guess their livers are long at that, but actually it's about their life expectancy. They can live about 130 years. Now, look outside. If you're a scuba diver, it's a real pro. Because at 330 feet, they'll have to be very cautious not to get decompression sickness. It occurs if you rise too quickly to the surface. And if you're lucky, you can also see a giant Pacific octopus. It dwells in cool water starting this deep and going down as far as 6,600 feet. And now, we're entering the dark part of the ocean. At 490 feet, just 1% of the light from the surface reaches us. All the rest is absorbed by water. Everything that's deeper will get darker and darker still. Oh look! At about 660 feet, there's a giant oarfish circling our submersible. These creatures are believed to be the source of all sea serpent sightings, and also a lot of alliteration. Sometimes they swim up to the surface and freak out sailors and swimmers. No wonder. These fish can reach 36 feet in length, enough to scare the heck out of me, for example. Okay, now we're at 980 feet, and wait, what's that huge and gangling thing out there? Oh, I get it. It's a Japanese spider crab. Why a spider, you ask? Well, just look at those legs and the answer will come to you without further prompts. By the way, there's almost nothing more to them than legs. The body of such a crab is normally just 1.5 feet across. Going deeper now, and at 1,640 feet, you're going to see the last of the blue whales. No, not really the last of them. I mean, that's the deepest they can swim. They don't really need to dive that deep for food, which they have in abundance in shallower waters, but they still can. I guess it's just for the sake of showing how awesome they are. After all, they're the largest creatures in the history of Earth, both in the sea and on land. Shh! You hear this? These are the sounds fin whales are making to talk to their friends many miles away. They can do this thanks to the SOFAR channel, or deep sea channel, that generally starts at 1,970 feet, but can vary in depth. It's a layer of water where the speed of sound is at its minimum, and sound waves can go thousands of miles before disappearing. At the depth of 2,723 feet, we have reached the point where the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, would not even show its tip on the surface if it were put underwater. Now we're entering the really interesting part of the ocean, where no sunlight reaches us and strange creatures dwell. One of those is the giant squid, yes, that legendary type. It inhabits the depths of 2,950 feet. Just imagine the creature with eyes the size of frisbees. Sperm whales hunt down these beasts, but they certainly can fight back. What a sight it would be to see such an encounter. And that's where pitch darkness finally falls on us, the midnight zone. The pressure here is so huge that if you somehow end up being here without a submersible, well, you'll simply be crushed in a couple of seconds. And that without seeing a thing too. Not the best of prospects. Anyway, at 3,600 feet, there's West Mata, one of the deepest ocean volcanoes in the world. Its last eruption was in 2009, and it was even filmed by a remotely operated vehicle. 4,200 feet down below, and we see the ferocious great white sharks. These ultimate predators feel great at such a depth. Their eyesight is rather poor, and they navigate by scent, so they really don't need sunlight to hunt down their prey. I don't see you, but I'll still eat you. Also, the leatherback turtles, the largest turtles in the world, dive at the same depth. I wonder if they do it to tease the great whites. Oh, see those huge nets? That's because we're now at the depth of 4,900 feet, where the catch-all fishing method is used. The nets are here to be dragged along the ocean floor, catching everything unfortunate enough to be caught. I'll let you decide how detrimental this is to the ocean life here. At 6,000 feet, if we were in the Grand Canyon, we'd be sitting at its lowest and deepest point. Imagine that all the crevasses have been thoroughly filled with water, and you'll get the perfect picture. Now, if we're really careful, then at the depth of 6,600 feet, we'll be able to see the black dragonfish, a nightmarish creature that dwells in the deep and dark parts of the ocean. And trust me, it's better off staying right here. It looks like something from a horror movie, and I'd rather it never cross my path. At 7,400 feet, we'll be saying goodbye to sperm whales. This is the deepest point they can dive, and frankly, they have no real business at such a depth. Maybe they hunt the black dragonfish, of course, or it hunts them? Nah, the difference in size is too big. Sperm whales can reach 62 feet in length, which makes them the largest toothed whales in the world. Not many creatures can counter that. It's good that our submersible has a powerful floodlight. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to see the astonishing beauty of the deep-sea coral reefs located at the depth of 9,900 feet. They can be found in every ocean, and it's a pity they can't be seen without special deep-sea diving equipment. Okay, going deeper still, and at 12,100 feet, we reach the average depth of the world ocean. From now on, the journey into the real depths begins. The general ocean floor has been passed, so now it's time to delve into the abyss. I won't tell you not to be afraid because the scariest creatures of the deep dwell here, below the midnight zone. And it doesn't end there. The pressure on the upper limit of the abyss, at 13,100 feet, is like a whole regiment of elephants stomping on you. Not that you'd have the time to feel it, though. Now, at 15,000 feet, the monsters out of your worst nightmares pop up. Anglerfish, for example, will scare the heck out of anyone. Its long and crooked teeth, along with a growth on its head that lures the prey, is enough to instill fear even in the bravest. But perhaps even more terrible is the creature called the black swallower. It's an eel-like beast that has a very stretchy stomach, and it can swallow prey that's twice its size. I don't know about you, but I'd rather switch off the lights not to see anything this deep in the ocean. What? You want to see it all? Alright, if you insist. Look down below, and you're going to see the deepest shipwreck ever found. SS Rio Grande in the South Atlantic sunk in 1941 and went as low as 18,900 feet. No wonder it was only found 55 years later. And now the deepest and darkest part of the ocean begins. We're diving into the Mariana Trench. Officially, it begins at about 19,700 feet deep. It's both the least explored and the most fascinating area for the scientists and adventurers alike. What lies at the bottom of it? Well, we're about to see, but while we're not there yet, I'll show you something else. For example, here's the deepest fish ever found. It's called a snailfish, and it dwells at 26,000 feet. Its body is translucent, so you can actually see right through its skin. Well, I must say I'm glad we didn't turn off the lights after all. This little guy is surprisingly cute for a creature that can withstand such pressure. Going lower and deeper, you won't see any other kind of fish or vertebrate animal whatsoever. The pressure is just too much for such creatures. But there are shrimps and other invertebrates, not to mention microbes, that can dwell even in the deepest part of the ocean. And that part is the Challenger Deep. It's the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and its depth is 35,853 feet. Yes, we've arrived at the very bottom of the Earth. Few people have been here, and very little is known about it yet. But scientists aren't going to stop, and there's hope we'll soon find out what secrets the